Okay, so let's start. So everyone, we are here to discuss the mental health vocabulary A to Z series, and today we are discussing letter S. And quickly tell us, please, that why are we doing the series so that we can start with the words for today.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. And we have started the series keeping in mind people who are aware of this dictionary and who are not aware of this dictionary. So that we both can give little bit insight about the words that are not to be used loosely and should be used with caution because these are psychological words. For example, if somebody has diabetes and that person is not checking his diabetes, he's just saying, I have diabetes or I have heart problems. But that person doesn't know when he goes to the doctor and get it diagnosed and he doesn't have anything. He just is saying like that only. So it's the same thing with the psychological words. You should be using it only after you are diagnosed, not before that, please. So it may
Yes,
stigmatize people, it may harm their personalities.
right.
Yes,
So for
Priyanka?
everyone to know, we would be using these words from the Oxford Dictionary of Psychology by Andrew Coleman, who is winner of American Library Association Award for Outstanding Reference Source. Okay, so let's start with our first word today. Shaludi, what do we have with us in the first word today?
Yeah. So the first word today is with letter F, and it is a fight and flight response. It's first I'll read the dictionary meaning, then we'll elaborate in our own words. You can join in, you can speak about it, you can elaborate on it. So first, okay, fight and flight response of an organism when the organism is confronted with a situation that evokes fear, pain, or anger. This is a kind of response we are born with it. It's an innate, we are born with it. Fight, flight response are we are born with it. For example, if we are into a situation where we want to fly away or we want to run away or we want to fight with that situation, accordingly our bodily changes happen. The biological changes happen like we start sweating, we like increase in blood pressure or accelerated heart rate or deepened respiration happens and the energy from the digestive system is brought to your legs or your hands wherever needed and urinary retention takes place. So these are some bodily changes happening in this response of fight and flight so that the energy goes to either hand if the person want to fight or if the person want to fly away or want to run away from the situation, the energy goes to the legs.
Okay. So basically, what we are saying is that fight is facing any situation, okay, and flight is escaping from that situation that I can't face the situation.
Yeah.
So, like the example can be like maybe I am having a debate competition and I'm very nervous about it. So maybe fight response will be that I go and I actually go and participate in the debate competition, even though I'm very nervous and anxious. That will be a fight response. And flight response will be I run away from the situation, I escape the situation. So that will be my flight response, right?
Yes, yeah, and there are other and there are other fear also. There are also innate like fear of falling and fear of
Yeah. Loud noises.
loud noises. One more thing, yeah. So we are born with it. When you see an example of a small child, even that child knows if you bang something near the child gets so fearful and the child starts crying because there's always a fear of these fears are
In it.
innate and they look after our survival. But there's one situation when somebody has these kind of problems, the bodily changes, when the problem is gone, they bring the body is back to homeostasis. But sometimes when the body is not back to homeostasis or not back to normal, then there is a situation you have to see a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Right. Got it. So that is the fight and flight response that every human deals with. Yeah.
Yeah, we are born with it because it looks after our survival. If if it doesn't happen, supposing the lion is in front of us, we know that we want to run away. But if there is no energy in your leg, you won't run away. Or if you have a big gun, you need energy in your hand to pull out that gun. So all the energy goes to your hand to shoot the tiger. But if you don't have that thing, then there's a problem. Means your survival is at stake.
Hmm. Got it. So that is a fight and flight response. Okay, so
Yeah.
the second word we
So
have for
next word.
today is, yes, we have is filter theory. So, as the name suggests, filter, we are filtering out something. What is not required, we are not using it. Okay, so that is what filter, the word filter means. The dictionary says a theory of attention proposed by Broadbent with a limited capacity that can select only one sensory input channel at a time. The filter theory says that from the environment we are receiving multiple stimulus at one point of time, but it depends upon us that which stimulus we want to attend to and which stimulus we don't want to attend to. So that is the filter theory. It creates a bottleneck situation. Like for example, this is a bottle. Okay, so same happens in us as well. Like many stimulus are coming from here. Now, not all the stimulus will make through the bottleneck, through the bottleneck. Only a few will make, which you attend to. So many stimulus are there from the environment, but we are attending to only a few words or stimulus, and only those go into our short-term memory, right? Do you want to add something to it?
Yeah. So only because we are bombarded with so many informations at a time, but we have a certain capacity to take in information. So it is
Mhm.
like we can just take around seven plus minus two information at a time, and whatever
Right.
goes in, and
Mhm.
if you attend to those information correctly and with time, you give attention to those information, they are retained in your memory. The filter theory is a part of memory retention only. How much
Yeah.
you get into your ears, and then you attend to it, and then that becomes a part of your memory. First, it goes to your short-term memory, and if you give little more time or energy to that situation, that comes to your long-term memory.
Long-term
So
memory.
that stays in
Right.
your memory. Yeah.
So this is just like that we are attending to a few stimulus that are coming from the environment, few information that is coming to our environment, and other information that is there in the environment that goes unattended from our uh, system, from our information processing system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is another one, a good example of the cocktail party effect, uh,
Yes.
where where you have so many information in the party. Hundreds of people are just making noise and everything. But for our name, we have this special attention. So if hundreds of people are dancing and somebody is calling your name, Priyansi, and you will just turn
I
to
quickly
that
turn,
person,
right?
yeah, you will hear that your name so quickly, even though you have so many people around you making so much of
Yes.
noise. So that
Even
is
though I
called
am
cocktail
talking to
party
someone
effect.
else, yeah, even though I'm talking to someone else and I'm really engrossed in that conversation, even though somebody will call out my name Priyansi and I will quickly turn that yes, okay, somebody has called out my name. So that is what you're talking about, right?
Yes. So that time all the filter doesn't work. That's a straight filter to your memory, your name.
So that is called as the cocktail party theory, right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the next
So
word is
another next F word is flash bulb memory. It's very interesting concept about memory. It's a flash bulb. You can imagine how a bulb flash or how a camera flash. It is just a flash. So this first I'll read from here. It's an unusually vivid, richly detailed, and a long-lasting memory for the circumstances surrounding a dramatic event. I'll explain you with this example of mine personally. When Indira Gandhi was shot dead, assassination happened. At that moment of time, whenever I hear this assassination news of Indira Gandhi, I can recollect what exactly I was doing at that moment. I get myself directly to that same place. So for me, when Indira Gandhi was assassinated, I was on the terrace drying my clothes, and it was morning time. And if I give more time to that memory, I can recollect what I was wearing, what I was doing with more clarity. So that's flashbulb memory. That thing it's like a photo memory happening. As soon as you recollect that assassination news, you get the same memory every time. You can never forget this memory. This is a very long lasting memory. That's a flashbulb memory. Do you have an example of flashbulb
Yeah,
memory? I
so
think
this is
everyone
just
has it.
yeah, this is just like a picture is clicked in your mind and you can recall it any time later if something related to it happens or somebody talks about it. So that is, can you give any
Yeah.
one more example? Like, I can't think of an example right now. Can you give any other example that it can happen with other people? Like maybe we can take an
Because
example of,
these memories are formed when you have a sudden information at that moment. These are sudden information, like whatever you are
like
attached to.
when you witness a close one's accident maybe, so like, and that was very
Yeah,
traumatic for you, so you can clearly recall that okay, it happened on this road at this time, there were
yeah.
so many people, this had happened to my vehicle, and so that is also like a flashbulb memory that you can clearly, the scene comes in front of your eyes that okay, this all had happened in that moment.
Yes, very correct. Yes, very correct. It should be little it should be a little dramatic event. It can be any saddening or traumatic or a very, very happy moment also. It can be either. Doesn't
Yes.
mean it has to be a sad moment. It can be a very happy moment also.
So in a simple language, we can say that a picture gets clicked of a particular moment, and then you can recall it later if something similar happens in your life or somebody else talks about it. Yeah?
Yeah, that's flashbulb memory.
Flashbulb. The name is only such interesting flashbulb memory. Okay, so the fourth word that we have, fourth and the last word we have for today is family therapy. It is a form of psychotherapy based on the assumption that psychological problems are often rooted in and sustained by family relations. Very interesting, where we talk about that if we are having any particular problem in our life, then it comes from our family as well. So in family therapy, the whole family, like suppose there are four members or three members in the family, the whole family visits a family therapist, and there the therapies or the counseling sessions are conducted because we are human beings and we live in a family, we live in a social environment. Okay, so family therapy is basically when the whole family visits a therapist, and whatever deep rooted problems are there in the family, or whatever gaps are in the family, whatever issues are there in the family, are taken care of, are talked about in the setting of a family therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in traditional families, the old people in the fa old members of the family used to be like family therapists. In old traditional houses, still in tradition, because of nuclear
Yes.
family, you have a lot of problems in the family now. They need therapists. But in traditional families, the oldest member of the family used to be a counselor to the family. He used to be a
Yes.
therapist to the family. So all the problems used to be taken care of. But now, because the families have become nuclear, there are less member and they don't know how to sort out the problems in the relationships. So it's always good to go to a counselor and take help.
Even like we cannot really say that they were therapists because obviously we talk about professional degrees and all the knowledge. So we can't really say that they were the therapists or something. But if you feel that there is a problem in your family, all the members are suffering through any psychological distress, then you must visit a family therapist so that all the members in the family can take care of each other, and the family therapist can conduct the sessions and the therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had no degrees, but they had experience of life.
Okay, right. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we will be there for a different letter, that is the letter G. And yeah, see you everyone. Thank you everyone for joining in. Please drop in your message, comments or messages if you have any. We would be happy to help. So yeah, see you then tomorrow. Thank you, Shalini, for being here. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Priyansi. And if anyone wants to know more about these words, please contact us, leave a message, be on Insta. Every day we are here live. Please be on our show and get insightful.
Yes.
Enjoy, take care, and
Okay.
happy Saturday. Ciao.
Thank you.